coming to you live from a secret location near the port of Asheville, in the heart of the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of western North Carolina. It's my 45th weekly Sunday live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Glad you could be with me today. Hope it's a beautiful day where you are. It's a little overcast and chilly here in the port of Asheville. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there who's a mother. Roses from my mom. And here's a little special thing for Mother's Day, if I can get it to work. That's Joe DiMaggio and his mother. That's Jackie Robinson and his mother. That's Ryan Braun and his mother. Christian Yelich and his mother. Mike Trout and his mother. Yogi Berra and his mother. Lou Gehrig and his mother. Mickey Mantle and his mother. And Tris Speaker and his mother. I dedicate this show to my mother. And here's a baseball song to start off with. Splinter Cheeks Johnson to cheer, a utility player for his whole career. He ate sunflower seeds and he chewed bubble gum, and he made sure to save all the other guys some. He put his uniform on every day, sat in the dugout and shouted hooray. He signed autographs after the game. Nobody ever had heard of the name. 1,100 plus 52 consecutive games, all the bubbles he blew. Not one single inning did he ever play. He worked hard to keep himself out of the way. Series, he got his ring. He got sprayed with champagne. It was the craziest thing. He got to ride in the next day's parade. A full share of the World Series pot he was paid. Well, in case you might wonder, and most people would, they kept him around because he was good. He would always move over, excellent form. The spot that he vacated always was warm. Now one time Splinter Cheeks was sent out on deck. Streak on the line, his nerves were a wreck. But the batter hit him, made the last out. Way to go, Splinter Cheeks, nobody shouted. Cheeks Johnson was always prepared, quick to react if trouble should flare. He was always willing to take one for the team from a secret stash of hemorrhoid cream. Now one time Splinter Cheeks was taking a nap. He covered his eyes with the bill of his cap. A murderous foul ball bounced off his head. They carried him out. Splinter Cheeks, he was dead. Splinter Cheeks Johnson baseball card set. A nickel is probably the most you could get. He had no statistics to put on the backs, not even any interesting facts. Cheeks Johnson to cheer, a utility player for his whole career. He ate sunflower seeds and he chewed bubble gum, and he made sure to save all the other guys some. I'll show you a little picture here of Splinter Cheeks Johnson. Actually, I was on Facebook one day and I came across this post that a Facebook friend of mine named Jerry Grillo had posted, with this made-up character named Splinter Cheeks Gruber. Of course, I took artistic license and changed his last name to Johnson. But that's how that song came to be. I would love to know where you're watching from today, if you'd kindly put that in the comments section. Also, any tip that you might be willing to give today, I would greatly appreciate. This is the way I'm making my living these days, until I can get back out on the road. I do have a live concert coming up on Friday night this coming week. If you live anywhere near Black Mountain, North Carolina, you can come live, be part of a real human audience. And if you don't live near Black Mountain, you can still watch the show. It will be live streamed. So just go to White Horse Black Mountain. That's the name of the venue. Go to their website and you can get a ticket there. Here's a song I wrote about a friend of mine who lives over in eastern Tennessee, about an hour from here. Known him for about 30 years, and he's a dear friend. He's a bona fide mountain man.
Everyone's wearing the latest designs, the newest commercials play with their minds, but there's nothing to wish for, nothing to chase. For a man out of time, man out of place. He doesn't dress up, go shopping for clothes. He has comfortable shoes, he has 2 pair of those. He doesn't go far, he doesn't go fast. He fixes the things that were made to last. He's got no cell phone, no answering machine. His old typewriter, it has no screen. He's never been to cyberspace. Man out of time, man out of place. Man out of time in his house in the woods. He'd like to just keep it that way if he could. But buildings go up, people move closer. First you hear the chainsaws and then the bulldozers. Man out of time, man out of place. Man out of step with the whole human race. He doesn't consume and he tries not to waste. He's a man out of time, he's a man out of place. Any books that he owns are long out of print. He doesn't like Bill or Hillary Clinton. He's a stubborn man and he's stuck in his ways. Man out of time, man out of place. You've got gadgets to cook, you've got gadgets to clean, you've got gadgets to do everything in between. But he still does things the old-fashioned ways. Man out of time, man out of place. He's got no checkbook and no credit cards, just some old keepsakes and replacement parts. He's off the grid, he leaves no trace. He keeps his cash in an old suitcase, and it doesn't appear on anyone's list. The case could be made that it doesn't exist. He's not showing up in the database. Man out of time, man out of place. Man out of time, man out of place. Man out of step with the whole human race. He doesn't consume and he tries not to waste. He's a man out of time, he's a man out of place. Now people may judge this existence of his, but he's perfectly happy the way that it is. And still you figure the feds must be building a case against the man out of time, man out of place. Man out of time, man out of place. Man out of step with the whole rat race. He doesn't consume, he tries not to waste. He's a man out of time, he's a man out of place.
If you're watching on Facebook and you would like to follow me, just click on that little bell-shaped icon where the red arrow is pointing. That's my red arrow. You won't see it on Facebook. And you can decide how you would like to follow me. There's a couple of different ways. Also, if you're interested in picking up recordings, you can do that at bandcamp.com. Just go to chuckbrodsky.bandcamp.com. You can pay any amount for digital downloads that you would like to pay. And if you would like CDs, you can go to chuckbrodsky.com/store. And I'm the one that packs and ships them. So if you'd like them autographed or any special instructions, just put that in the notes. I'll be happy to do that for you. This song is for Art.
Ashes from the wood stove filling up the bucket, spilling out the top, so when I'm gonna chuck it? Take it out the back door to where I never mow. Find a little spot that no one will ever go. Gonna take it out back, dump it in the river. Take it out back and throw it in the woods. Take it out back and chuck it down the hillside. We'll keep the front yard looking good. That old TV quit on me, brother, 10 years ago, so I got me another. First one sitting out by the porch swing with the fridge and the stove and a bunch of other things. Gonna take 'em out back, dump 'em in the river. Take 'em out back and throw 'em in the woods. Take 'em out back and chuck 'em down the hillside. We'll keep the front yard looking good. That rusted old car, it's got no motor. If it had any gas, I would try to explode her. Hubcaps, hoods, and old transmissions. Take 'em to the river, gonna make for good fishing. Gonna take 'em out back, dump 'em in the river. Take 'em out back and throw 'em in the woods. Take 'em out back and chuck 'em down the hillside. We'll keep the front yard looking good. It's all turned green, and the chicken bones that have been picked clean. Some on the counter, some on the floor. Let's take 'em out the back door. Gonna take 'em out back, dump 'em in the river. Take 'em out back and throw 'em in the woods. Take 'em out back and chuck 'em down the hillside. Keep the front yard looking good. We'll keep the front yard looking good. I got to keep up the neighborhood.
I want to show you a letter that I got, or an email, several years ago from somebody who had covered my song, a bluegrass band, and this email was sent to them. I'll read it to you. You can read along. A friend recently gave me a copy of your new CD. I loved the gently flowing instrumentals and the sweet vocals. I was enjoying it as I drove along until I got to track 5. I consider myself an environmentalist and was appalled to hear you singing the praise of front yard cleanup by means of throwing all your trash in the river. What was Chuck Brodsky thinking when he wrote this? I later read that you found this to be one of your stage favorites in a PSA. Whose public are you serving? How environmentally insensitive can you get? At first I thought, oh, it's only ashes. It'll choke a few aquatic plants. Then the TV and the old car with all of its carcinogenic fluids seeping out gradually for years, killing every living thing in this poor ecosystem. If you continue to perform this song in public, please do not sing it for children. I'm sure they will get the wrong idea. I would throw the CD away if I was sure I knew where it was going. Maybe I'll just recycle it. Please give me your views on this song and why you feel it's so great. Oh, I'd love to. Just want to point out again, tips are very much appreciated, and great tips equal great karma. And if you're wondering where to find the URLs to tip me, they are right there on the screen. And if you want clickable versions, all you need to do is go into the comments. They're the very first comments. And anything that you will give, I will greatly appreciate. I am trying to make my living doing this. Thank you. So here's a song that I have recently recorded for an upcoming CD I hope to put out this year. Because you know how it is these days. Try to have a conversation with anybody about politics, and if they don't already agree with you, you're getting nowhere. And I have tried every means to convince the person I'm talking to see my point and change their mind, and nothing ever worked until I figured out this approach.
After 3 or 4 tries, I poked out his eyes. That's how I got him to see. To get him to hear, I screamed in his ear. I gave him the 3rd degree. I sharply berated him. I told him I hated him. I wasn't very kind. I shouted and cussed until I won his trust. That's how I changed his mind. I shunned him, ignored him, I wouldn't look toward him, I only would give him my back. I accused him of lies, I would not compromise, I erased him after the fact. I was abrupt, I would often interrupt, and we were volatile when combined. And in stating my case, I blew up in his face, and that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Now this man was an ass. I was gonna let him pass, let him take a wide berth of me. But I was right and he was wrong, like I was telling him all along, trying to just get him to see. But he's a this and I'm a that, so we couldn't have a chat of the friendly and civilized kind. Round after round, I just ground him down. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. I stomped on his toes and I punched him in the nose. I was using irony. So sure of the truth, I knocked out his tooth and I kicked him twice in the knee. I won over his heart with a poisonous dart, and he should have seen me unwind, being overly cruel and with ridicule. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. So I called him a fool, challenged him to a duel, threw my white glove in his face. 20 paces and I shot, and I must have hit the spot anyway. That's how I pleaded my case. Well, I won in the end, after making him bend, and after all, the papers were signed. In the end, I won, yeah, that's how it was done. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, ashamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, I might have even maimed him. That's that's how I changed his mind. Oh, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind.
Try that at home, it works every time. We have come to that part of the show that I like to call Puck View, and today's featured hockey puck is one from the old Philadelphia Firebirds, a minor league team that I used to go see for, I think, a $4 ticket back when I was a kid. Here's a song about forgiveness, and it's about as profound an example as I can give. It's about a woman named Ava Moses Kaur. She was a Holocaust survivor. She and her sister were experimented on medically. She survived, and as an elderly woman in her 80s, she attended the trial of Oscar Groening, an SS guard who had over 300,000 counts of accessory to murder. And this is a story of when they met at the trial.
Today's a day you used to wonder if you would ever live to see. They finally brought them into justice. What kind of justice will there be? Nobody knew a thing about him. He never talked about his past. And it caught up to him at last. He changed his name in Argentina, grew a beard and dyed his hair, bought a farm and raised a family, and even they were unaware. Today's the day you used to wonder if you would ever live to see. They finally brought them into justice. What kind of justice will there be? It's not the face that you remember, it's not the one that you despise. Today he's frail and he's remorseful, no skull and crossbones in his eyes. Today he's in his early 90s, and just a week ago he fell. Someone for him to die in prison, some wish he'd just go straight to hell. He sits and listens to the charges. He does not offer a defense. He does not say he followed orders. He doesn't claim his innocence. He looks at you and not the jury. They will decide if he should live. You cannot ask them for mercy. He cannot ask you to forgive. He practiced how you would confront him. You thought you came to seek revenge. You thought that he was less than human. He used to look through that same lens. But when he whispered he was sorry, the only words that he would speak, it was a justice that you came for. You let him kiss you on the cheek. Today's in his early 90s. Just a week ago he fell. Some someone for him to die in prison. Some wish he'd just go straight to hell. But when he whispered he was sorry, the only words that he would speak, there was a justice that you came for. You let him kiss you on the cheek.
And that's a photo of the two of them in the courtroom. Here's a story of a very special gift given at Christmas time a bunch of years ago.
Catherine's boyfriend played saxophone. Catherine wanted a flute. And there was one in the window of the music store that happened to be a real beaut. Mommy couldn't afford it. This much Catherine knew. Still she stood there a few minutes dreaming, knowing that it wouldn't come true. The Christmas time was a-comin'. Catherine had the blues. Her mom asked her what she wanted. Catherine didn't tell the truth. She knew there wasn't the money, not even for one to rent. But the only thing that Catherine really wanted was a playing instrument. Catherine cried for a month in her bedroom when she had to quit the school band. Now the woman that lived in the holler heard about the second hand, and the goodness gathered within her, and they fluttered like butterflies. She, in a vision, released them. She watched them take to the skies. Now on a very cold night in December, maybe the coldest night of the year, a woman that lived in a holler, she cried a few secret tears for those last few moments of glory, and the glories that had all been before, in the times that had been there to rescue her. She let her food down by the door. Now people, they whisper about her. The locals say she's a witch. Although she'd be the first to come help them, they ended up in a ditch. Those candles she lights at her altar, they burn as a gesture of love, the kind they talk about in the churches, but they know so little of. And so it's one day just after Christmas, Catherine wore her new hat. Her mom brought her out to the holler. A woman was there with her cats. Catherine had no idea, or maybe someday she would, that what she would soon be receiving was being given for a greater good. Here's to the sweet gift of music. Here's to the power of song. Here's a toast to the woman in the holler for passing these things along. Well, the case was covered with stickers, words that this woman had scrawled from the magic places that she had been to, trinkets from her own Mardi Gras. And it all meant nothing to Catherine, 'cause it wasn't her story to tell. fall under the spell. So it's Catherine's turn now to hold her. Here's hoping she'll learn how to play. Maybe she'll drop by the holler to visit this woman someday. Maybe she'll come with her boyfriend, the one who plays saxophone. Maybe they'll play for the woman a few things they made up on their own. Here's to the sweet gift of music. Here's to the power of song. Here's a toast to the woman in the holler for passing these things along.
If you're interested, you can become my patron and support me on a monthly basis, any amount that you might choose. Some people support me for as much as $50 a month. You could support me for $1 a month, and you will get the same access everybody else gets, no matter what amount that you support me by. But I share things on my Patreon site that I don't share elsewhere, like first versions of new songs or early recordings of them from the studio. I've shared several of the songs that I'm currently working on. I do Zoom Hangouts with my patrons occasionally. I let patrons pick the songs for some of my live streams. They picked up my All Baseball Song show a few weeks ago, and they picked the lineup 2 weeks ago as well for the regular live stream. So if you would be interested in checking out my page, there is the address right there, patreon.com/chuckbrodsky. This next song is about a curse, a legendary curse. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series in 1908, and they did not win another World Series until 2016, 108 years. Many people believe the reason that was because of a curse put on the team by a man named William Sianis, owner of the Billy Goat Tavern in Chicago. Now, Mr. Sianis used to bring his Billy Goat to the ball games on a regular basis. He had box seats, and it was never a problem. But during the 1945 World Series, he showed up with his goat, and they refused him admission. And he was so upset about it, he put a curse on the team that they would never win another World Series. And it lasted for, like I said, 108 years. T-shirts were made. But finally, that curse was broken. And the 7th largest gathering in human history, honest, took place just a couple days later, when they buried the curse. And this song is called Funeral for the Curse.
It was the 13th of never. It had been a very long wait for another week with 2 Wednesdays. Hadn't happened since 1908. Red snowflakes were falling. There was a very blue moon. All the folks in Chicago were singing a Steve Goodman tune. Cats were chasing dogs that day. Water ran uphill. Flocks of pigs were flying. The champagne had been chilled. It was a short-sleeved night in November. The wind didn't even blow. And from the hill they were reporting more than 7 feet of snow. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but last time Easter fell in May, or another evening in the autumn, celebrating Christmas Day. But the fish had climbed the poplar, and the cows were coming home. The sun rose in the west, the day the curse was overthrown. Some said they were ready, they had hung on just for this. They had crossed off all the other things above it on the list. And the ghosts no longer haunted, now that they could finally rest. And old men and their fathers wept, love was unrepressed. They finally had a parade, leading it was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. But now anything's liable to happen, so keep your eyes on the dominoes and expect the unexpected. And always wear clean underclothes. 'Cause there was, in a month of Sundays, second Wednesday of the week, there was hugging in the tavern, lots of kissing on the cheek. They finally had a parade, leading it was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Yeah, they finally had their parade, leading it was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse.
Great tips equal great karma. And these people never tipped. Don't be like those people. They were bad people. Bad people don't tip. Good people tip. I want to sing this next song for Joanne Martin. Joanne, you requested this a couple weeks ago when my patrons chose the set list, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to fit it in that day, so I'm going to do it for you now. And once again, I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you'd kindly put that into the comments.
Goodbye, kid. Checks his watch. The hour is late, and the night is hot, and he wipes the sweat from off his brow. What time is it, you ask? And he says now. But goodbye, kid. On his arm is the coat, it gets cold, and he clears his throat. The speech he prepared, you're expecting to hear, but then he whispers, I love you in your ear. I can't leave without these. He reaches under your chair and he picks up his keys. Says, I don't know how they got there, and how I wish I could stay at least another day more. Says the goodbye kid with one foot out the door. Goodbye kid. Been around the block looking for a parking place, could not find a spot. Now that's him out there with the hazards on. The goodbye kid, and he can't stay long. Did you get too close to the goodbye kid? Did he leave too soon? Or was it you who did? Did you take your heart back behind closed doors and listen till you couldn't hear the sound of his engine anymore? Goodbye kid checks his map. Inside his head there's upon your lap, and he holds your hand while he plans his route. Those places and those dates are so absolute. At least we used to think so. Goodbye kid, he's a one-man band, towns that nobody goes. He does a one-night stand 100 nights in a row. They always end like this. They even start sometimes with a goodbye kiss. Goodbye kid, he's thinking of you. Too. So where you calling from? It's Texaco. The goodbye kid calling to say hello. The goodbye kid, he leaves a rose, a little bud with his petals still closed. Would you tend to it? See that it lives? Reads a little card signed by the goodbye kid. Did you get too close to the goodbye kid? Did he leave too soon? Or was it you who did? Did you take your heart back behind closed doors? Listen till you couldn't hear the sound of his engine anymore. Goodbye kid checks his watch.
Hey, how would you like to come to Ireland with me? I'd love to have you join my groups. I'm going to be leading a group tour this October that's sold out, but next July, 2022, I have 2 tours, and there are 5 rooms available for each of those 2 tours. Also, I'll be leading group tours to Scotland in 2022. The 2 April tours are sold out, but there are 4 rooms left for the September tour. And if you want more information on any of those tours, just go to chuckbrodsky.com. Look on the menu at the top. You'll see the Ireland-Scotland tour heading, and just click on that. You can get all that information. But I do want to show you a slideshow here. Some pictures I've taken in Ireland. When you land at Shannon Airport, you'll be greeted by Peter. Peter is with the taxi company that brings us to our accommodations for that first night. I saw that in the airport my first day there, and I knew I was in the right country. You might see some pretty unusual flavors of potato chips there. It's in Bunratty, where we spend our first night. That's also in Bunratty. There's a typical night in a pub. That's with a statue of my favorite Irish writer, John B. Cain. I'm not sure what town that is, but it's a pretty shot. It's Mizenhead, the furthest southwesterly point in all of Ireland. That's what a lot of the people immigrating during the famine would have seen as their last glimpse of Ireland. This was something that just happened in the hotel lobby one night. This young woman was there for a competition, and she had her harp out and played a bunch of songs. It's a little private concert for her mother and me. And that's a Ring Fort in County Kerry. That's in County Kerry. That's a fantastic harper, Claire Roach. She plays for our groups privately when we're on the Donegal tours, which is where we'll be going in 2022. She's amazing. It's a fun night that we often have up in Donegal at a pub. And you get right close to the music. Let's cliff some more. We'll go there. But we'll also see the cliffs from below on a boat ride. And we'll take the boat out to the island of Inisheer. And all of our tours do this, weather permitting. There's Galway. There's an ancient warrior. That's a stone circle, Drumbeg stone circle. If you're on a Cork tour, you'll get to see that. That's Cork City. We often make a lunch stop there on the Cork tours. That's Dingle Bay. It's a really cool bar, hardware store, combination, Foxy John's in the town of Dingle. And it really is a full-fledged hardware store with a pub in it. And if you go on a curry tour, you might just get a sheep and cattle dog demonstration. So, hope you'll join me for a tour sometime. They're really fantastic. And you can read some testimonials from people who've been on my tours if you visit my website. So here's a song that I wrote as an assignment years ago at the Lambs Retreat for Songwriters in Michigan. My assignment was to write a song about playing ping pong with my dad, and when that day came, that I was finally able to beat him.
When I was a little feller, ping pong table in the cellar. Every night just after dinner, he used to let me be the winner. The ones that could get over the net, he'd pretend like he could not get. Deliberately he hit them wide, but only barely missed the sides. And everything he'd hit real soft, he could turn it on and off. But just to show me that he could, he'd almost hit one through the wood. My dad, he was a champion. Me, I was his only son. He taught me everything he knew, and I've shown him a thing or two. Play the ball with lots of spin. Taught me how to serve like him. I was 11, maybe 10, starting to play a little better then. And I started talking trash. Finally he met his match. 16, maybe 17, taut as the net was between us. He'd slam one, I'd slam one, and he'd slam one, and I'd slam one, and he'd slam another, I'd slam another, back and forth attacking each other. It was spin and counter spin. Neither could let the other win. Things would never be the same when I learned to beat him at his game. But now we play like gentlemen. volley back and forth again. Neither of us keeping score. We don't need to anymore. Now I don't want to slam it all. No one in there to chase the ball. Let's just keep this thing in play. That's the whole point anyway.
I have just a couple more songs for you. Please tell me where you're watching from in the comments. And your tips are very much appreciated. Thank you. Many years ago when I was based in Northern California and I first started touring, I toured a lot in the West and played in Victor, Idaho a couple of times, or a few times in Jackson, Wyoming a time or two. And here's a little story I was told one night when I played in Jackson, Wyoming.
Bad whiskey killed young Tom Green. Bad whiskey from the still. Out behind the chicken shack and just up top the hill. His friends were coming over like the wood to quench their thirst. Before any of them could get there, Tom thought he'd taste some first. Well, Tom Green, he was well liked, even by the law. Oh, sure, he had his run-ins, but no real character flaws. Sheriff left the keys to the lockup on the table, where a sober man could reach him just as soon as he was able. Bad whiskey killed young Tom Green. He cooked the stuff himself. He'd gotten into bottling it for everybody else. But he don't know what got in it, how long it took to die. His thirsty friends, they found him when they came for their supply. Tom Green's whiskey put a good shine on the moon. They kept some underneath the counter at all the reputable saloons. Old little shack. Smoke comes from the chimney, but the snow won't have any tracks. There's been no investigation. Sheriff will not step inside. They say the man went sober, but the young Tom Green died. Bad whiskey killed young Tom Green, though his was usually good. People come from miles around to get some if they could. But ever since Tom left us, most folks have dumped their stash. The odd bottle that might turn up, fetch a bunch of cash. Tom Green's whiskey put a good shine on the moon. They kept some underneath the counter at all the reputable saloons.
Or some kind of ending like that. So I'm going to finish off with a song that I always end with. And I always like to dedicate this song to my parents. I also want to dedicate it to Betsy. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. Hope you'll tune in next week for my 46th weekly live stream.
Well, I hope I I see you later, 'cause it's time for me to go. That's my ride that just pulled over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer your calling, go and fill somebody's cup. If you see an angel falling, why don't you stop and help them up? We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going and show each other signs. Sometimes you'll stumble, sometimes you'll just lie down, sometimes you'll get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going, show each other signs. So thank you for the water. Thought I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Sprinkle a little bread together, got a little manna. It was a gift from someone who was passing by and offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going and show each other signs.
Thank you. Stay well. Stay safe.